The Isle of Wight is a 40-minute ferry ride across the Solent from Portsmouth. As the ferry departs, there are fine views of Portsmouth Harbour, HMS Valiant and the Spinnaker Tower. After the arrival at Ryde Esplanade, it is a short walk to the train, the last remaining railway service since the beaching cuts of the 1960s, which saw the once comprehensive network reduced to a single line running from Ryde to Shanklin. The service today is provided by old Northern Line tube trains dating from 1938. Shanklin has some of the island's best beaches with miles of golden sand. The Chine is an historic gorge dating from 1871. It was from here that the Pluto pipeline took fuel across the channel in World War II. A short drive from Shanklin is Culver Down, from where there are magnificent views across the Solent and the English Channel. Culver Down is a popular place for walkers and kite flyers. The fortifications known as Culver Battery date from 1906 and were used in both World Wars. During the First World War, it was armed with two 9.2-inch guns. The battery was decommissioned in 1956. The nearby restaurant provides good food for the hungry visitor. On the other side of the island, after a scenic coastal drive, are Compton Bay and Hanover Point. The waves and breakers here make this a favourite place for surfing and sea canoeing. Despite much coastal erosion, there are fine views from the paths along the tops of the cliffs. A short distance around the coast is the picturesque town of Freshwater Bay, with its impressive white cliffs and fishing boats. At the far end of the island is Alum Bay, famous for the rocky outcrop known as the Needles. For those who don't want to walk down the steps, a chairlift provides a more leisurely descent, though only if you have a good head for heights. The multicoloured sands of the cliff face are one of the island's most popular attractions, and many a child has gone home with a little glass lighthouse filled with coloured sands. Boat trips around the bay enable visitors to get closer views of the Needles and the lighthouse. The port of Yarmouth, with its ferry link to Lymington on the mainland, has grown up as a result of its natural harbour, guarded by the castle built by Henry VIII in 1547. Today Yarmouth is a busy town with many good hotels. The square has a varied range of shops and many pubs and restaurants. Carisbrooke Castle dates back to Norman times and is most famous for being the prison where Charles I was held in the months leading up to his execution in 1649. A walk around the castle walls affords expansive views of the surrounding countryside and the little town of Carisbrooke below. The Isle of Wight once boasted 54 miles of railway, most of which was closed in the 50s and the 60s. Today this is a heritage line running steam trains for tourists over a few miles of restored track. Returning on the ferry to Portsmouth, there are good views of the Round Tower and the waterfront. Then the old Spice Island Inn, Gunwharf Quays and the Spinnaker Tower.